Kyndra Rotunda, a lawyer and major in the U.S. Army Reserves, has released a book called Honor Bound: Inside the Guantanamo Trials about her experiences dealing with legal issues at Guantanamo Bay. The government spends roughly $95 million a year operating Guantanamo. Rotunda says this money is used to provide detainees with comfortable living quarters and other accommodations.
One detainee said, "I'll stay here until the weather is nice in my country." I later learned, after my book went to print, I learned of another situation, a detainee who went before his parole board and asked that instead of being released, would the military consider just moving his family in with him in Guantanamo Bay?
Rotunda says the number of detainees at Guantanamo has gone from 800 to 200. She says this poses a danger to the U.S. because troops are still fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan.
One of the key benchmarks, and the one we cannot lose sight of, is that this war is still going on until U.S. troops come home. So as long as we've got soldiers fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, this war is still going on.
The Supreme Court recently ruled that detainees could have their cases heard in civilian courts. Rotunda disagrees and offers an alternative.
I think that we should continue with the system we have, except that we should stop paroling terrorists back to the battlefield. I think we should follow the laws of war. There should be a hearing to make sure we've got the right guy. We have no interest in holding innocent people. We have no interest in holding the wrong people. But we do have an interest in holding those who are enemy combatants who took up arms. The law of war allows us to do that. And I think we should follow the Geneva Conventions and do that. We should hold these people until the end of hostility once we've decided that they're enemy combatants.
Former Attorney General under President Reagan, Edwin Meese, says detainees should not be released until after combat has ended.
I think it should be done the way in which Congress itself has determined in the Detainee Treatment Act, in which they provide for military commissions to have the trials, and then they also have provided for a limited civilian review to be in the Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit to determine whether the procedures were properly followed, but not to give them a trial de novo or a trial on the merits, on the evidence. That's the job of the military commissions, and the job of the civilian courts is to make sure that they have followed the proper procedures. I think that's a fair way to do it, a constitutional way, and does not involve the unconstitutional interference which the Supreme Court has made.
Many U.S. citizens don't receive full health care and dental coverage, but detainees at Guantanamo Bay do. Rotunda doesn't see a problem with these benefits, but she says the Supreme Court ruling has gone too far. In Washington, I'm Nicholas Ballasy, CNS News.